Not even the most experienced political strategist could have predicted the arrival of a superstorm in the last week of the US presidential campaign. But with polling day less than a week away, that's exactly what President Obama and Republican candidate Mitt Romney are having to contend with.
To discuss the various implications of the superstorm on the fast-approaching presidential election, we're joined by Simon Jackman. He's a professor of political science at Stanford University and also a visiting professor at the US Studies Centre at the University of Sydney. He joins us now from Stanford University. Simon Jackman, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
You'd have to think on face value, and Barack Obama there was looking very resolute as disaster coordinator-in-chief, that this would have to favour Barack Obama over Mitt Romney.
Yeah, that's generally the way you'd expect this to go. The president gets to be the president, and the challenger, well, has to be very careful at this time not to be seen to exploit the situation. And indeed, that was one of Romney's missteps earlier in the year, jumping in a little quickly with respect to that Libya matter, intruding on the president's home turf, as it were, as commander-in-chief, and as you just said, disaster coordinator-in-chief.
And it is quite significant as well, because for the last 2 days over there, the campaign has effectively been suspended. Both Mitt Romney and Barack Obama have cancelled campaign appearances, and this would hurt them both politically, given the election is still so close.
Yeah, the temptation to get back into it a little earlier than you should must be enormous. And indeed, Twitter today is alive with what is Romney really doing today in Ohio, for instance. Obama is sitting it out, coordinating matters from the White House. But there's Romney may well be up and campaigning actively in Ohio today.
Well, that's right. I mean, there's speculation that he's been holding a fundraiser or two. There are reports coming in just in the last hour or so of a 5-minute speech he gave to supporters where he did focus on the relief effort from the hurricane, but also made some other general points. There's a danger here of him appearing, I suppose, insensitive to those millions of Americans affected by the storm.
Yeah, and Christie was asked on Fox News earlier today if he would welcome a visit from Governor Romney, and Christie, a Republican himself, emphatically said no and went on to praise Barack Obama on Fox News. And so it's a very interesting time in this campaign, at least these next 2 days or so, as the country gets back up on its feet. Both candidates, the president and, of course, the governor, having to take things very carefully indeed.
That's right, because it's also a potentially tricky path for Barack Obama in terms of managing that recovery effort. Our thoughts go back, of course, to the damage inflicted on President Bush over his missteps in the days after Hurricane Katrina in 2005.
I think that's right. There's a very narrow window in which you have a bit of latitude from the American people, but if you seem to be making mistakes on the recovery effort, then I think it's game on, and Romney will pounce on any misstep in the recovery effort as managed by Obama. And Obama, for his part, has put himself out there. That audio I was hearing here in Stanford, the vision you guys were seeing back in Australia of Obama just then, make no mistake, he's put himself out there. He's playing the commander-in-chief role to a T right now, and he better get it right or Romney will pounce, no doubt.
Well, they'll be back on the campaign trail very soon, perhaps within the next day or two. As I said, the election is still neck and neck. Politically speaking, how do you read where we're going in the last week, and who do you expect will get over the line next Tuesday?
Right now, the national headline polls are so delicately poised. This could go either way in the headline national vote. But as you've got to remember, elections in the United States are decided by who wins in the Electoral College, you know, these series of state-by-state contests. And right now, Obama is still looking like he's ahead in about 7 out of 9 swing states. And if that's the pattern, and indeed it appears to have been the pattern for the last week or so, then we're headed for an Obama win, and at this point I tend to think that's where we're headed, a very tight result in the national popular vote, but perhaps an Obama win, and perhaps even a comfortable win in the Electoral College.
And voter turnout, Simon Jackman, could be a very big issue, and we're going to show our viewers some pictures again of the damage inflicted by Sandy on the New Jersey coastline. This is Seaside Heights, north of Atlantic City, because, I mean, New Jersey and New York are very blue states, very Democratic-leaning states, but a lot of voters who were intending to vote early obviously won't have been able to. What impact do you expect that may have had on all of those states affected by Sandy?
Well, precisely because New York and New Jersey are such strong blue states, I'm not expecting the hurricane to impact the outcome in those states. Virginia a little more interesting, Pennsylvania more interesting, and even Ohio is encountering a little bit of flooding damage. They're the states, to the extent the hurricane is impacting swing states, that's where I'd be paying close attention. American elections, the local election officials at state and at county level have enormous autonomy as to, supply provisional ballots to people who, may not be able to get to the polls. So I expect we'll see a little bit of improvisation going on the ground, but precisely because New Jersey and New York are so overwhelmingly, I think, in the Obama camp, the effect of the hurricane there politically on the bottom line won't be too great, I suspect. It's more the atmospherics, frankly, how Obama is seen to play this going forward, how Obama plays his role as commander-in-chief, how that cashes out more nationwide. I think that's the big thing we'll be watching out of this.
Yeah, very good point. Lots of dangers for both Barack Obama and Mitt Romney in the week ahead. Simon Jackman, thank you very much for your insights this morning.
Thanks, Michael.